Fog Racing, back with two bits of news. Formula 1 terminates Russian Grand Prix deal. And also, Max Verstappen signs new contract to 2028, which is a 5-year deal because it's extended onto his already existing deal. But we'll kick off with the Verstappen deal first before we move into the big boy deal, because there's a lot of shit going down with Russia and Ukraine. But yes, Max, he signs the contract until 2028. I always thought this was going to happen. I didn't really see Max Verstappen anywhere else. Well, I could have potentially seen him go to Mercedes, but I don't think that. I think with the fact Lewis is still there, and he keeps on extending it back a year or two, it's never going to be free, and Mercedes are never going to be like, right, fuck you, Hamilton, we're bringing in Max. So I'm not surprised. Max has signed this. He's committed to it. He's won his first world title. They've built more or less every car since he's come in around him. He is the number one guy. He's obviously one of the best drivers on the fucking grid. And by the time you get to 2028, he'll probably be considered one of the greatest of all time, if not before that. So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer from Red Bull. Because you look at everyone else. I mean, McLaren have got Norris for the future. Russell's at Mercedes. Sainz and Leclerc are going to both be at Ferrari for the foreseeable future. And obviously, yeah, Max is better than all of them. So, you've got to sign in your guy. You can't afford to lose Max Verstappen. But it'll be interesting to see how this season goes. But yeah, Max signed it. It looks like it's going to be one of the most lucrative in F1 history. It looks like it's between 40 and 50 million euros. Hamilton is said to be on about 40 million, so it looks like it'll be roughly around the same what Hamilton gets at Mercedes. But no wonder. It's a real statement of intent, And if Red Bull can nail this year's car, Max could fucking literally be winning every title up until this contract runs out. I wouldn't be surprised. He could very easily do that. But into the other bit of news, Formula 1, it terminates its contract with the Russian Grand Prix. Of course, it was already announced that this year's Sochi Grand Prix wasn't taking place. I think they were going to move the Grand Prix to some other track, can't remember. Might actually say here. Yes, it was going to be in St. Petersburg, where it was due to move in 2023. But now, it's not happening. The contract has been removed due to the invasion of Ukraine. Of course, you can always return. Obviously World War II happened before F1 even started, but at the same time, I'm sure if they cancelled German Grand Prix during it, they've eventually come back to Germany. I'm not saying F1's not going to race in Russia ever again, but it will be at least, I'd say, for a couple of decades, at least 10 years. Especially if this war escalates. If it stopped tomorrow, I think you could probably see them back in a couple of years. But even then, with Putin in charge, I don't feel like it could ever possibly return with him leading the country. Because, of course, he was key in establishing the fit in 2014 with the whole Winter Olympics. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this news. Max signs a new contract. F1's terminated his contract with the Russian Grand Prix. A lot of contract news, but testing just around the corner. But a week from now, isn't it? I believe. What day is the day? Aye, so I believe it's over the weekend on the 11th testing, and after that we've got the Bahrain Grand Prix, and then after that we've got the fucking Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We've also Drive to Survive Season 4. I've never watched Drive to Survive. Because, people can talk about it, right? I think it's cool the way you get, like, behind the scenes footage of F1, because, previous years and decades you never got shit like that, but it's so fabricated, it's so fake. Like, they make feuds out of nothing. If it actually just did it around what was actually happening that year, instead of like, oh, Gasly and Shinoda, this fierce rivalry. No, they never have it. They'll probably try and make a rivalry between two bums who didn't have zero interaction on track and look worse than what fucking Max and Lewis was. But anyway, guys, I'll date for this vid on Fog Racing.